Hello and welcome to a long anticipated video that I have been late with on every deadline that I set for myself on this video. And seeing as this year there was no Clone Army video due to what was going on with this room and storage and having to reorganize a lot of it, I never got round to filming that either. And yes, you can see some coat hangers. This is a video that's been well over a month in the making. I originally planned to have this video out about between the 15th and 20th of July, and that just never materialized. This room has been in disarray since April and only now just looks the way that it should. Back in April, I chose to take down all the shelving that was covering the windows because I realized, well, that was a great idea during winter. I loved the idea, not so much in March. So early April, I took it all down. You'll have noticed a change if you watch the live streams. And if you're new here, welcome. And, because of all that, I didn't get to film the Clone Army video that I wanted to do in May. But this will probably be the longest video I make this year. I don't really see what else will top this, unless we get a really big set to review or something like that. But I'm glad to bring you guys the Captain Rex Production 72 room tour for 2026. Very excited to make this video. Loads to point out, loads to talk about. It's a video that we've been talking about because everybody always asks, can we see this up close? Can you show me that or whatever? Well, this video is for you if that's some questions that you have, if you want to know things about some of the Lego sets or even see more of the sets I've got because it's not always easy to show up in live streams in detail. So for those who always ask what I have and want to see things, this video is for you and I hope you enjoy it. And we're going to be using my normal format where we start and we work our way around the entirety of the room. Gotta be honest, this room has changed a heck of a lot, right? Since I moved into this room back in July 24, we did all the decorating and stuff for it back in 2000 and early 2024. And I've changed it so much since then. Yes, that setup worked, but as I kind of got used to this space full time, I found different ways where I wanted to change it and think, and yes, that's my picture up on the TV for the channel. And I just wanted to do all that kind of stuff. I've had ideas, and this room is so different compared to last time because I again, experimenting. Because to be fair, like, as the collection's grown and as I've got into other hobbies, which, there's that, check out my other channel, Rex Collects, that's a very shameless plug. I've had to figure out new ways of doing things, and this is probably the most optimal space I've ever had, and probably the best layout. Yes, having shelves that went all the way over there was cool, but I think this makes the better room tour than that. I do regret that I didn't do like a whole tour thing on video that I could have inserted into this, but I wasn't that far thinking. But we're going to start over here. So over here, these posters, I'll admit, by the way, there's a couple things to point out. Because I've been trying to get this filmed so much, there is this bag that I have here, right? So this bag is parts and stuff that needs to go with sets that I've not had time to do. For example, you may see a snowspeeder or two where the cannons aren't there. They're in that bag. So it's going to be stuff like that. Second of all, you may see dust on some of the sets. Because I've been trying to get this on for 2 weeks. And over the course of those 2 weeks, it has got dusty again. So I wasn't willing to take everything off the shelves, completely dust clean, remove all the figures, and do all that again, because, it's my last kind of off day that I've got, so I want to get it all done. But we're going to start here, work our way around, and this will be a lot of fun. So, starting with this is my main shelf. Now, I like to look at this shelf and think that it's a spiritual successor to the black shelf that we had for, 3-4 years back in the old house I was in. And, that was a cool shelf, and I like to think of this as kind of its updated version, because it's standalone. I used to have all my shelves connected, but now I've got 2 main standalone shelves. And of course, there's Lego that you'll find spread out the room. Now, with this shelf, this is like my main trilogy shelf. I am not a fan, if you're new here, I'm not a fan of Disney Star Wars. I never have been. I just hate it. You're going to see very little, if anything. But, you've got Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, A New Hope, Revenge of the Sith, Attack of the Clones, and The Phantom Menace. And, of course, this top shelf is just Imperial stuff. But let's start off with that top shelf, work our way down. I'll point some cool things out. Something else I'd like to point out is during the live stream I was doing before filming this, we were trying to look around for anything and everything that had maybe popped off the shelf or was kind of misplaced or anything like that. And, yeah. So you may spot a figure that's knocked down, and it'll be really funny to see the comments on that one. But anyway, let's start. So at the top here is our Imperial shelf. We've got the 2011 Super Star Destroyer up there, one of my favourite sets that have come out. And I'm interested to see what the new one will look like this year. But the TIE Bomber there as well is just, you know, a whole lot of Imperial minifigures, K2SO. We've got this Star Killer I got off eBay for £5 that's custom. I do want to pick up a roll on some Royal Guards, some miscellaneous Stormtroopers, Imperial TIE Pilots, Death Troopers, you know, Imperial Astromechs, all that kind of stuff. I've got the 2006 Star Destroyer up there. I know people hype up the most recent two play scale Star Destroyers, 2024 and 2014, but this is always my favourite one. Coming around the back, really do like the engines on this one. We got the Imperial Landing Craft from 2007. Very cool, very nostalgic set. Really do like this Imperial shelf. I probably could have added more things to it. I want a Vader's tie to go on there. Coming down to the other shelves, and we get into the ones that are movie-based. Now, I had a particular idea in mind when filming this. I wanted to have somewhat of a, best way to put it, I want to have like a collage thing, like all kind of mixed up in a way, but you'll see what I mean. So over here we got Jabba's Palace, one of my favourite sets. When I got my first paycheck, I bought Jabba's Palace. Got Max Rebo, and there's a whole bunch of the minifigures there. I did have, and I still do, it's in a box you will see in the stream. Or maybe you won't be able to see it, I don't know yet. And it's the UCS sail barge from a couple years back. Now that set was alright. And it had some interesting minifigures, you know, like that guy there with the brown piece in the front, as well as just many other minifigures that I liked in that set. You know, got a few of them on here, the Kafaba minifigure there as well. That set was weak. When back in April, when I was moving this all around, that set just crumbled into so many pieces. It's not a reliable set strength-wise, but the minifigures really came in clutch here with the Jabba's Palace scene, which I really do like. And of course, we got Hans Moleman there, because that's canon. Got parts to Imperial Inspection here. Want the brain from the TIE D. Luke Skywalker, as well as some other minifigures coming around here. Just EV-99, Ula, the Rancor. And of course, you can kind of see we got the sail barge back there. Coming round this way, we got the kind of main scene from Return of the Jedi, or the opening scene. Just one of the minifigures there. That went well. But you know, it's Vader coming in the Death Star. He's not too happy. Really cool set. That's the 05 Imperial shuttle from Imperial Inspection. Here we got the kind of main briefing scene where apparently C-3PO just got murdered on the floorboards. Really cool set. The Home One from 2009. Absolutely love this set. Got one of the Moncalas up there. It's kind of Endor, Rebel Troopers, all my pilots. I think most people would agree this set, imagine, right, minus the hangar section, imagine that as like 100 to 120 pound diorama. Just this scene. Oh, that's the kind of stuff I wish that line got used for. I've always thought about doing a video talking on that subject. Got the A-Wing there, and you can see how part of the A-Wing battle is also the Battle of Endor. You know, various Ewok, Stormtroopers, Scout Troopers, the AT-ST, which, of course, Chewbacca has taken. The Ewok glider. Over here we've got the TIE Fighter. This is the 2001 version. It has that kind of refueling stand, which, look, I love that era of LEGO Star Wars where things like refueling stands doubled as display stands for sets. All modern TIE Fighters sit on their wings. We've got Max Rebo there with the sail barge from 06, a Rancor pit. We got 2024 Jabba the Hutt. I have an original one that's in storage. He's not in the sail barge. And of course that one there was a 2012 version. Skiff, and the Battle of Endor is one of my favourite scenes. I was torn between having which one at the front. I chose the Home One. Got Vader and Palpatine there just chilling because, you know, why not? Well, one of my favourite sets here, I do actually have the box for it up there. This is the minifig packs that they were doing. This is 3341 Star Wars -2. I'd been meaning to get the other three. I picked this up in December last year, and somehow it's like when I said I'd buy all the light up minifigures and didn't. But, you know, really do love Return of the Jedi. It was the first Star Wars movie I ever saw. First bit of Star Wars I saw. So it's a movie that I really like and tend to buy a lot of things from. So moving down to The Empire Strikes Back. Let's get started, because this one's packed. So as a kid, Empire Strikes Back was my favourite movie. And it probably still is. It's always been between these two, right? And when I was a kid, the only Empire Strikes Back sets ever on shelves was Battle of Hoth stuff. You could never... Keep in mind, this is in the late 2000s, early 2010s. There was no Dagobah sets, there was no Cloud City sets. In fact, I don't think we got another Cloud City set till I was about 15 in 2018. Which is a set I did actually own. You can probably see it in the last Rim Tour. But it's really cool. I'll show you the collage thing going on. So, we'll start over here. We've got Yoda's hut from 2004. Got Yoda in there, Dagobah R2. And over here is the battle packs from 2010. Now, the reason these are front and center is the nostalgia. I remember getting my original copies of these sets from Toys R Us back then, and Speeder Bike's part of that as well. These sets are just nostalgic for that reason. Up here, right at the back, we've got the X-Wing from that set, and it's got the kind of bits of Dagobah stuck to it. And over here on the Cloud City landing pad, it kind of transitions into the Battle of Hoth. You've got Han Solo Leia, who, by the way, has apparently a nuclear ice ball. We got one of those, I was going to say Dagobah, we got one of those Tauntauns there. Pretty cool. We've got a Stormtrooper who's kind of up there. And this is that 2011 set. Got back to tank look, their kind of main part of the Rebel base. That's the Hoth Echo base from 2011. It's a pretty cool set. One of my favourite ones from that around that era. Got the Wampa Cave here from 2010, which is a very cool set indeed. Snowspeeder kind of flying over top, because of course you've got to have that. Got the Snowman R2 there from the 2012 Advent Calendar. Coming over here, we've got Luke versus Vader. And of course, you know, they've already done the kind of main bit of the fight. Coming up here, we've got some Empire Strikes Back minifigures. It just made sense, you know, Admiral, Piet, and Vader. Yes, I could have had them up there, but I kind of like this more. Got the main bit of Cloud City brought to you by Yellowed Clone Trooper helmet that I got in a lot years ago. Just never bothered to replace it. Along with the bounty hunters from that scene. And Luke kind of sneaking back there. Of course, we got the infamous Cloud City. We've got Han, Chewbacca, Imperial officer there. It's a really nice looking scene. And of course, you know, if I push this part out, we got the Han Solo in Carbonite, which looks really, really good. It's a really cool build, this. I do not have anything much behind it other than a part of its landing pad, as well as the two snow speeders back there. And of course, if I get my hand right in there with the camera, it's just miscellaneous Hoth pieces. The Battle of Hoth is one of my favourite scenes in Star Wars, so I'm really happy that I'm able to get so much of this stuff. It is relatively cheap to buy Hoth stuff, to be fair, but it's one of those things I eventually would like to do a building series of. Let's drop down to episode 4. So this shelf is pretty cool to me for many reasons. We've got some of the most nostalgic sets for me on here, starting with the 2011 Millennium Falcon. So this is one of my first proper big sets I got back in the day. At least it feels like it. This set felt bigger than anything else I ever had, even though I had sets that were bigger. It's one of those weird things. But it was my first Millennium Falcon as a kid. And I got this, my original copy for, not this one, I bought this one more recently. I'm just going to tell that part of the story. I got my original copy for my birthday in 2012. And I sat and built this at the kitchen table with my stepdad. And that year I actually got a cake of a Lego Yoda on it. And that's one of my happiest childhood memories. And unfortunately, he passed away in 2024. And if you want to say there's such a thing as an emotional comfort Lego set, it was this. I went on eBay a couple of days after it happened, and I saw this for sale. Sealed in the box for $130, and I kind of took that as a sign. I know it's a bit of a weird thing maybe to have emotions towards a Lego set, but weirdly enough, building this really helped when all that happened. It's one of the most nostalgic sets. Is it the best Millennium Falcon? People might debate me on that, but it's, to me, this is the one I had as a kid. I did also have that mid-scale one that was out in 2009, but I always thought this one was personally cool, and yes, my legs did click there. Droid Escape from 2012, Mos Eisley Cantina, Dewback, a couple of versions of Han Solo. That's the 20th anniversary one, that's the one from 04. Got the OG Landspeeder there, or the second iteration, followed by the one from 2010, with so much nostalgia on that set. Got this Banfa here. So this is made by Hill Hill, and the foot for it's there. That's I'll admit, I need to glue this back together. But it's the, you can see where the head separates and stuff. This is the Banfa made by Hill Hill, I guess, 2015 on Instagram, and I bought this from eBay. It's a pretty cool looking thing. You know, reminiscent of the complete saga. And over here we've got a parade kind of Sand Troopers 2012, 2010, and 2007. Over here we've got the 2012 TIE Fighter. Again, another really cool nostalgic set, followed by the 2006 X-Wing. Now, technically, this set came with Hoth minifigures, so why didn't I put it up here? Well, I wanted the Dagobah one up there. Come over here, we've got just an assortment of minifigures, Captain Antilles and stuff. We've got the Tantive 4, which has got to be one of my favourite random I'm tired and bored at work purchases. And I got this set when it came down in price, but I've got a few other figures around there. Both versions of Luke Skywalker in the Celebration outfit. Well, both of the book versions. I've not got his 2023 one, but I do want it. Got no pupils and pupils, along with Han, who does not have that difference. Got some Imperials here, you know, Grand Moff Tarkin, just some Stormtroopers and other Imperial personnel. Here we have the minifigures that go with that set. Again, the minifigures might be the most classic part of the set to me. This set just, it's... If I was to pick my favourite LEGO Star Wars set of all time, which is a very difficult question, this is always going to be in the top 5, just for the nostalgia behind it. Motivates that every single time. Also got the little escape pod here from the Star Destroyer with R2-D2. But yeah, emotional discussion over. That is got to be one of my favourite sets of all time. And if I had the space, I'd display the box of it as well. Moving down. So here we have Revenge of the Sith, and I remember absolutely loving watching this when I first saw it. And all of these sets are pretty cool, and quite a few of these sets I did actually have around the time they came out, my original copies. Starting with Palpatine's Arrest, I remember getting this with some birthday money back in 2012. Thought this was really cool. Got all the, like, getting all those Jedi was a really cool thing. Got a bunch of clone pilots, various versions, and yes, I knocked a minifig down there. And, you know, pretty cool set. Got Anakin's Interceptor there. We did that for 3,000 subscribers / my 100th stream. It was around the same time, actually. I think I timed those. Got a bunch of the Shock Troopers. That Shock Trooper design is my favourite. Got Palpatine there as well. Anakin killing Nute Gunray. Light up Mace Windu, as I was mentioning earlier. You know, Aayla Secura, another compilot. All 3 versions of Burnt Up Anakin, 05, 2010, and 2017. And yes, I'm aware they're in the wrong order. Got a whole bunch of the 212 troopers there. Our pilot, a whole bunch of 327 troopers, and a lot, not all of mine, but quite a good chunk of the 2005 Phase 2s, followed by 2 of the Kashyyyk clones. We've got one of the Jet clone troopers up top there. Palpatine Shuttle's another cool one, adds a kid along with the 2014 Tri-Droid. We got the Invisible Hand just chilling back there. Then Anakin and Obi-Wan having their duel there. The AT-AP, we built that for 4,000 subscribers. ATRT from 05, Grievous Wheel Bike, which is an example of I have the chair he sits in, it's in that bag. But I wasn't wanting to prolong this video even further because I had to take that out. Knock the minifigs over was a big risk, so I just wanted to avoid all that. 2005 Turbo Tank, another really cool one. I got that with a work bonus that I was given. Moving down here to the lackluster shelves. Now, I want to point out, it's not that I don't like these next 2 movies. They're not my favourite Star Wars movies, but I do like them. LEGO seem to have a love-hate relationship with actually making sets for these, and that's part of the reason why. But here we have Attack of the Clones. Now, granted, immediately you'll notice 2 of my sets from this are the Slave 1. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not true that LEGO never do sets. Last year we got a couple. But we don't get a lot of difference. And yes, it was cool getting Jango Fett Slave 1 for the first time in 23 years, the point where in the UCS one, which you'll see later in this video, LEGO trolled us by putting 23 bags exactly. But, you know, got the ATTE. Now, that should be up here. That's true, but I use it for this. I need to get the bridge back on the Acclimator. You know, let's see some other kind of old school LEGO Star Wars boxes. The Geonosis and Starfire, Obi-Wan's Interceptors there as well. You know, some really cool sets. Original Jango Fett Slave 1's OG minifigures. The Jango Fett is up on my Complete Saga display. You'll see later on in this video. That speeder bike there with the little crane. Well, those drawers are just full of miscellaneous parts and minifigures. I'm not really going to get into that. But I do have my lightsaber there as well as some whiskey. This Diadastini is the name of the brand. It says Vader helmet. Got various minifigures here. The trainee clones. And, you know, just all the clone troopers we got in 2013. Now, let's talk about these droids here. So the one on the right is an original 2003 Sand Red Geonosian battle droid. The one on... Sorry, that's the one on the right. The one on the left is a custom. You can tell by the rocket arm. So I order a lot of stuff from Brick Rebellion. And during his Black Friday thing last year, he basically gave those out for free if you spent a certain amount of money. And that's one of the cooler things I've ever got for free. I do have an original one that should be here, but it's on the Complete Saga display. We've got a whole bunch of the 2013 ones, Dooku's pilot droid, some Geonosians. I don't like the droid I was telling you about. The winged version I have, it's just not here, as well as some super battle droids. Now, let's go down to the Phantom Menace, which is it's not my favourite Star Wars movie, but it's one of those movies that I am determined to get more sets for. Now, we do have these drawers here, we've got some whole miscellaneous things. We've got a Pharaoh's Quest set here. Why is that there? Well, I randomly have Pharaoh's Quest spread throughout the room because it's a theme that I really like, and it's a theme that I have a lot of nostalgia for, so I've kind of kept it out. We've got the Gungan sub. A set that I remember getting my original copy from my grandparents for Christmas 2012. They got me this and the Sith Infiltrator from that year. Sorry, the year before 2011. There's some really cool minifigures. Again, I apologize for some dust that you guys may be seeing, but I have not had the time, the opportunity, because I have to take everything apart to clean this. And this display can take a while to set up. Pod Racers back there. Again, with these two movies, it's more so nostalgic sets I'll buy, but at the same time, it's like I would like some more stuff from them. Again, we've got the 2001 Flash Speeder. No, the 2000 Flash Speeder. 2000 is the year my oldest sets are from, including that minifigure stand there. But it's the dust is more noticeable on that shelf at the back, purely because it's, you know, there's not a lot to this. Down here we keep my Blu-ray player, which I plug in when I watch Blu-rays. These are the 2007 UCS Falcons instructions, along with the box for the AT-AP. That's just box of miscellaneous parts. So that is, get up here, the first shelf. I'll admit, I do like the kind of cool standalone thing this has, given it's like the main movies and stuff. I've separated out things like Clone Wars, the Old Republic and stuff to other areas, but I really do like how this looks. I think this is one of the best parts of the display by far. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue round. So coming over here, you know, it's a pretty cool set, and I'm happy I managed to get the box of it. Here we have the first UCS set that I bought. Let me get up closer. First, we're standing on the bed. The 2012 B-Wing. Not the most popular UCS set ever, but I certainly really do like this one. You know, I just like the uniqueness of this one. Now, this one's not a very structurally sound set. It can have problems that way. Up the top here, by the Star Wars, we have two posters for LEGO Star Wars. One's the original trilogy, one is the complete saga. Coming down here, we've got the plaque for it, and we've got this little card thing that I found this on eBay. It's not an official one, but it's still pretty cool. It's the transformation pod thing from 2008, where you've got Indy one side, and of course, as you just saw, Han Solo, so we've got a 2011 keychain, which I think still works. It kind of works, but it doesn't come up on camera too well. Another thing that I collect, and you're about to see some other hobbies that maybe weren't so prominent previously, is I collect VHS tapes. I've only got a few here, you know, Trainspotting, Silence of the Lambs, The Shining, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Batman, Guest House Party Show, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back. And, you know, it wasn't even called A New Hope at that point. It was just called Star Wars. What I'll do is I'll show this bottom shelf, then we'll show the top shelf. Over here is just movies. I have a lot of nostalgia for Scooby-Doo, right? And I've got quite a bit of it, like animated movies, Transformers, Kung Fu Panda, Goblin King, South Park, Zombie Island, the Scooby-Doo movie, Transformers, The Simpsons movie, Samurai Sword, Camp Scare, Music of the Vampire, Padawan Menace, and Clutch Powers. Yeah, I'm 23 and I still enjoy some animated movies. Got a few things over here. We've got The Italian Job, Akira, 2001 A Space Odyssey, Family Guy, Blue Harvest, Johnny English, Nobody 2. I have the first one. I think it's another stack because I'm an idiot. We got Pulp Fiction and Top Gear. I'm a big Top Gear fan and a hockey puck. We also got one of the sets from Alien Conquest. We got What's New Scooby-Doo, we got Chill Out, Johnny English, Family Guy, It's a Trap, Hulk, Transformers, E.T., Top Gear, Indiana Jones, Jackass, one of the guys from Jackass, Star Wars, original trilogy and prequels, Full Metal Jacket, Top Gun, Nobody, Clockwise, Men in Black 3, Men in Black 2, Men in Black 1, Spaceballs, Drop Dead Fred, and I'm into buying physical media, right? I'm very guilty. I go past the CEX store every time I go to work, so it happens. And, well, it really happens. So, you know, I'm not going to show every Xbox 360 game, but I'm just going to kind of go like that so you can see each one of them. But the Xbox 360 is a console that I have a lot of nostalgia for. And no, I've not played every single one of these games, but again, check out Rex Collects, that channel that I run. And you will find I talk a lot about these kind of games. Of course, I've got some Lego Marvel up here. In fact, I just got this one in earlier today. Ben 10 Alien Force Vilgax Attacks. Far Cry, Godfather, Alan, some really cool games here. And yes, I even own some of the Kinect games, as you're going to see. Really fun Star Wars or Clone Wars games. I don't think we've got too many games based off Clone Wars. Pretty much almost all the LEGO games here, minus Harry Potter, Gears of War. LA Noir is a really good game. Of course, we've got Kinect Sports, Game Party, Motion, Kinect Adventures. I also have Kinect Star Wars, as well as Gunslinger, which are over there, I suppose. But yeah, loads of really cool games here. And there's, I think, 110 Xbox 360 games here. It's not something I plan to stop collecting, and the way I kind of choose what I'm playing is random number generator. Can have a lot of fun with that. Here we have it's a Kobe, and it's something a co-worker got me when I left my previous workplace. And I'm still to build it. World War II collection, Flocka Wolf WF9198F8. You know, I'm someone that really enjoys history, so I'll be building that on here on a live stream sometime soon. And we'll quickly cover this bit here. So all the PS1 games that I have, I've got Star Wars Demolition there. I don't really do the PS1 games that often, but that's where they are. I've got some shot glasses there. PlayStation 2 is a console that I have a lot of nostalgia for, and I do pick up a lot. And, you know, my most recent ones, more expensive ones I bought for that console, Simpsons Hit and Run. Funny how that game and the Simpsons game, which is down there, they're some of the more expensive games. Got a bunch of platinums there, then it's just regular ones. Loads of the Star Wars games. I'm only missing, I think, 1 or 2 Star Wars games that were available on the PS2. But you got some memory cards there. I don't own a PS1, but the way I play them is you insert a PS1 memory card like that into a PS2, lets you play it. Another thing that I've gotten into collecting more, I was into collecting a lot of this stuff beforehand, but it's kind of went double time in the last kind of year or so. I've got into it more. I started to explore my other hobbies, but we've also been collecting Blu-rays. I just noticed that is wrong. Mostly going to be 80s movies. Coming down here, this is like my box set shelf. So, saying that I bought the Ben 10 is a series I have a lot of nostalgia for, and I like to pick up things like this. I've got Ben 10, and then we've got Alien Force, Monty Python's Flying Circus, the Monty Python movies, The Dark Knight, Hammer Horror, The Godfather, Indiana Jones, Texas Chainsaw Massacres, The Professionals. We've got a Ford Capri, because a very iconic car in that show. So there's the 2 cars from Lego Indiana Jones, Family Guy, Clone Wars, 2.5 Men, Porridge, Faulty Towers, Young Ones, Blackadder, Bottom, The Simpsons, Scooby-Doo. There's many books as well and some snacks up there. But, you know, I recently had to install this shelf because of how much I've been buying. In fact, today alone, I got the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo in. Coming up to this area over here. No, we'll get into that in a minute. We'll come all the way back up here. So this is a series that I'm currently working on that's currently on hold. So you guys all see my collecting the complete saga. Well, I wanted to do it with Lego Batman as well. So let's point out that cup topper there and this one up here of Padme. Those are from 1999. I picked those up in a trading hall. But Lego Batman 1 is a game I have a lot of nostalgia for, so I tried to do the same thing or that I was doing before, but with this. I know some interesting customs I had to pick off eBay. I do have some random Pharaoh's Quest stuff there, because why not? But it's currently on hold. I've got a lot of stuff pre-ordered for it. Moving up here, we've got an Old Republic ship, which recently fell off the shelf and unfortunately cracked a lot of the dark red that's on it. So, some replacement parts. There's some rare minifigures in here. Shadow Orf, Darth Malgus, TC-14, Smooth Hair Leia, Chrome Stormtrooper, and Chrome Vader. And we've got pretty much most of... I need to fix all of these, but pretty much almost all my Indiana Jones minifigures. And here we have what has been a staple. We're not going to go too far into it, because I've got some episodes that's coming out. The Complete Saga. One of my favourite games of all time. Decided last year we were going to collect it all. And so we're at. I have some episodes coming out. In fact, me getting ready to film this room tour delayed episodes of this. But very excited to get back onto it. A console that I recently picked up that I played a lot of as a kid is the PSP. And I started, pretty cool that I got the box of it. Started to get right into the games with those as well. A TV show that I like is Breaking Bad. I also really like Better Call Saul. So I've got Mike Ehrmantraut and Saul Goodman there. Those are with some eBay customs. So there's a Transformer here because my friend Terra Killer T1, check out his channel. He does buy me those frequently. And I buy him some Legos. I was kind of what I've going on. We've got some Indiana Jones mixed with some Pharaoh's Quest. These are just some boxes and whatnot. I've got PS2 controller up there. This is, like I said, this would be my second hobby, right? Physical media. It's something that I enjoy. Yes, I'm aware we live in the world of streaming content, but I like this more. And on my second channel, Rick's Collects, which I've mentioned a few times, that's where I do all that kind of stuff. Coming over here, we've got some hats. But if I take those hats away, very poorly, I have, well, this wall's now red. So when I had the shelves crossing it, I painted it red because I didn't want the random wallpaper that was there to be the background behind the sets. So there's that. But also have some action figures again, something I've got into that I buy. So I've got a 1999 Padme, 2009 Clone Wars Yoda, Ori Mantell from 99. Got a 2011 Hondo Naka, and these last three are from 2012. So what you guys see, we got Padme, a Shock Trooper, and a Super Battle Droid, which are pretty cool. Something I would like to buy more of. Let's get on to the setup. I suppose it's also worth pointing out I got a new bed. We got a big blanket I bought from Temu for the professionals. It's one of my favourite shows. That had to be replaced because that one I bought and built last year, which is terrible. We also went and got some new curtains. So these are very 70s inspired. I don't know, I saw these and thought, well, I'd rather this goes with the vibrancy of that. Not to mention, we've got that carpet rug there. And the TV's been changed out as well. And you can see I've got my channel up here. Which, you know, it felt appropriate rather than a black screen. My Clone Army thing from last year. It's pretty cool looking. And basically, this TV is a 2010 Sony Bravia. Why did I get rid of this? So why did I get rid of the smart TV for this? Well, I mostly play on retro consoles. You can see here, the only modern thing here is the Series S, which I use for playing some modern games, and when I do watch something that isn't something I own physically. Followed by my PS2, and the 360 is different as well. So, I've now got a Modern Warfare 2 version of the console, as well as a Sony VCR. I do have two other gaming consoles, which I will show you now. They're in another room, but just so, in case the question's asked. But yeah, in the other room, I've got my Xbox One, which, to be fair, now just acts more or less like a Blu-ray player in here. I do play the occasional game. And we've got the Xbox 360 Slim that I've had for a while as well. Again, I just have the duplicates of these consoles, so I keep them in here. And probably a question I'm going to get, right? Why do I do this rather than emulate? Probably similar to the why do you buy DVDs and box sets rather than go for streaming? Not everything I want can be done that way. And I do enjoy picking a game and doing the whole random number generator thing and just going with that. Also, we've got Commander Gree down there. And that's kind of my preferred method. The reason I got this Modern Warfare 2 Xbox 360 is I just always liked this design and wanted one. I picked this up, the Series S, so that I could play Forza Motorsport 6, and so that I've got one of the consoles that can play Grand Theft Auto 6 when it comes out. The VCR was a recent pickup. I just really wanted to own another one of these, and for some movies I like the way they look on VHS versus modern, Blu-rays and stuff. I like the best of both worlds. But yeah, maybe something that I'll eventually do is, I want to get a Series X and a PS5 because of the way my gaming works with my friends. Not to mention, it's like, well, I am mostly a Microsoft kind of person anyway. I don't get me wrong, I do love PlayStation, but that's where we're at. And other things related to gaming. So, as some of you all know, these are both PAL or PAL region consoles, right? I want to get NTSC-JAI versions of both consoles, Japanese ones, to play some import games. So maybe that's something I'll eventually pick up. I do also keep some of the shelves, and that was almost the goddamn controller falling. One second. I had to move a cable there, but these are the shelves I keep along with the table that I sometimes film on. This is just a beanbag that I got, for sitting while doing gaming. This is the corner Ivar shelf that I've had since November. Up here we've got the 2007 UCS Vulcan, got a lamp up there with the bush layout, some other kind of stuff up here as well. It's, again, look, that'd be an example of something that's in that bag, that cannon. Got the R2 that I picked up in Comic-Con a few years ago, Batman just chilling up there. So, we got this shelf here. Now, this is kind of like pre-2015, prior to 2015 Clone Wars stuff. With two gunships, the dropship, a couple starfighters, an attack shuttle, the Y-Wing, and a whole bunch of the minifigures from that era. And I absolutely love this shelf. It looks so good. Big fan of how this one turned out. Got a few custom minifigures in there as well, as you can see. But the classic look of this shelf is brilliant. I absolutely love it. Love the way that Y-Wing looks on display. Coming down here, there's a lot of older sets here, like the T6 shelf. In fact, most of the sets on here are some of the older Clone Wars ones. But it's mostly populated by the more modern style Clone Wars figures, which, don't get me wrong, I do like the Anakin Obi-Wan here, right, that are from 2018 and 2025 look really nice. Admiral Yullard's a nice minifigure. And there's a couple over here that have fallen over, apparently. Some really nice customs, like the Minifig Customs UK minifigures. And, of course, this is full of minifigures, unfortunately, some of which have been yellowed over the years, that I got in bulk lots. But it's really cool. And obviously down here we have your kind of whole separatist bad guys kind of shelf, which looks really nice. It's not as full as these two, but there's not enough stuff here from that I'd really buy for that. Down here, these are both our storage. I'm going to nail them down here. So there's two of these boxes. This one here is instructions and books. There's one back there as well. That's the sale barge. This is parts that you go through. There's some sets that I've purchased within these. And this box contains just stuff that isn't currently on the shelf. I've got this fan here because the amount of heat waves that we've had lately are crazy. Coming down here, same deal. It's the guitar amplifier and the fan. We just make it look better what's there. But that's just kind of like clothes and stuff, like storage like that. But, you know, this shelf looks really cool. I remember when I moved in here initially, I wanted corner Ivars, but I just couldn't get a hold of them. They sell out really quickly on IKEA. And that's something else. This is also a new unit that I picked up. I like the look of this better. The white furniture, I liked it when I moved in, but I grew out of the way it looked, and some of it was just not really... Like those Billy bookcases were not faring too well. Over here, and by the way, that was 20 quid from a charity shop that I work near. Honestly, it's solid wood furniture, which is absolutely brilliant. Oh yeah. Over here, we've got a Vice City poster and the Shining poster. So yeah. But here's something pretty cool that I'd thought about buying for a while. I looked at them online and, oh, I got this one. This is a glass display case. It's really cool looking. Really do enjoy this. So we'll start up top. So up top, I mentioned someone close to me that had passed away. I built the Falcon with them. That's kind of a thing for them up there. We're not going to talk too much in on that. Bluetooth earphones. But yeah, I've got a little kind of like memory thing for that person. But yeah, it was a very close friend of mine. We got up here, we got two battle packs that I was talking about. Got the Lego Scooby-Doo set is back there as well. The mansion, I just could not think of a better place to put that. This battle pack's down there. We got the Slave one, which I put up there earlier today, and it just looks menacing being up there. Absolutely love that. Coming down here, we've got this shelf here, and I love how this turned out. So I'm a big Scooby-Doo fan. If my autism wasn't clear, that's probably like my autistic obsession cartoon show at least. We've got the Mystery Machine here of the main characters for Mr. Rank. This is a set that I picked up last year that I'd wanted for such a long time. And by the way, this all does turn on. Let me show you. Got this light in there. So that is the Monster Fighters mansion, and I've just kind of... The aesthetic of it, I'd argue this works better with Lego Scooby-Doo than that does, but maybe that's just me. Coming down here, we've got a couple different sets. Starship Series Falcon, two different DeLoreans, the one from this year, the one from 2022. So some Star Wars books. We've got a copy, right, of the PS3 version of the Complete Saga. You'll notice it's the only PS3 thing I have. I'll explain why. So, late last year, I bought a PS3, and it was one of the backwards compatible ones that could play PS2 games. I thought, I'm onto something. PS1, 2, and 3 games in one console. But those consoles have a tendency to die, right? Overheat and yellow light of death. And me and Terra Killer T1, he's a close friend of mine. He appears in a lot of these... he appears in mostly live streams. I think he's actually in one or two regular videos. And me and him are playing that when it yellow lighted, so I've kind of just kept it for that reason. Lego Star Wars Character Encyclopedia from 2011. We've got Anakin's Intercept, Anakin's lightsaber. The box for that smaller DeLorean, because I plan to review that. And that's just some miscellaneous stuff. I've got the clone helmet that I got at Con a few years ago. Moving over here. We've also got some miscellaneous stuff up there, kind of stuff you would have in your room. Got a DeLorean clock at the back of that, though. We've got my guitar here, which, of course I have an instrument. These are just miscellaneous drawers. Like, some of them include, minifigures, stuff like that. A few non-star, like you've got Paul Walker's minifigure from Fast and Furious, Mr. Freeze. Just we've got some duplicate Clone Wars minifigures. I get some of these are valuable ones you'd have on display, but for me, the duplicates, the rest of these are just parts. And a mirror. And one of the coolest games I've ever completed, San Andreas. But that is the full room tour. I put a lot of time and effort into this room. You'll have seen via the live streams and stuff like that. And I absolutely love how it looks. I like that my room doesn't look modern. Because most people my age who, still live at home with their family, their rooms are quite boring looking, but this has this feels retro to me. Maybe that's because when I was a kid, I had pine kit shelving with my Lego on it. I think that's the main reason I went for this. I know the old kind of aesthetic with the drawers and stuff. I like just that unpainted wood look. And I'm very happy with how this all turned out. You know, I hope you guys really did enjoy this video. I've enjoyed making it. And believe it or not, this is 3 long clips all put together. It's supposed to be, you know, minimum 40 minutes. But, and I'll be honest, I'm glad that there's not really any editing. It's probably my favourite one I've done so far, and there's not really much additions I can make. I think, other than perhaps getting another one of these pine kits and putting it along there, and a small one there, there's, you know, I don't think there's much more expansion. Like, I could have another one underneath that, but we may finally kind of be out of the room for expanding upon it, and that doesn't bother me too much. You know, at the same time, it's like, yeah, I'm going to continue to buy like physical media and games and stuff, but at least those are easy to store. And one thing, I've not shown them in this video because it's not very presentable. Granted, I've not had the time to sort it. Is I still have all my boxes for the most part. I have thrown a lot of them away. Ones that were damaged, ones that were kind of ruined, and ones I didn't see the point in keeping. Like, for example, I've kept the Jabba's Palace box. I've kept the box for the Super Sorcerer. I don't have my 2012 Advent Calendar box. It's not something that I chose to hang on to. You know, stuff like that. I didn't keep the T6 box or the box for the pod racers. It's picking and choosing, and, well, the collection storage is obviously going to change a lot. See, I'm currently buying a lot of smaller sets, and I've not bought that much this year, which means there's an advantage. I get to do everything I bought in 2026 video. You may remember I was doing those at one point. In fact, weirdly enough, one of the main videos that my channel suggests to me, in fact, ironically, that was the video there originally setting up this room. But I've enjoyed every bit of this room tour, and I'm curious, how would you guys display my sets? What would you do differently? Let me know down below in the comment section, but I want to thank everyone who watches this video. It means a lot. See you guys in the next one.